Berlow's model of communication.
David Kenneth Berlow was the 11th president of Illinois State University. A native of St. Louis, Missouri, Berlow was interested in communication and earned his psychology degree and later his PhD in communication from the University of Illinois. While there, Berlow wrote what would become a popular textbook in the field of communication, the process of communication. In 1958, Berlow became the first chairperson of new Department of General Communication Art at Michigan State University and served in that capacity until his appointment as Illinois State University's newest president in 1971.
What is SMCR? Berlow's SMCR, Model of Communication, 1960, describes the different components that form the basic process of communication. Because this communication tool also emphasizes the coding and decoding of the message, it can be used for more efficient communication. Parts of SMCR. Number 1, S for source. The source, in the other words, also called the sender, is the one from whom the thought originates. He is the one who transfers the information to the receiver after carefully putting his thoughts into words. Communication skills. An individual must possess excellent communication skills to make his communication effective and create an impact among the listeners. The speaker must know where to take pauses, where to repeat the sentences, how to speak a particular sentence, how to pronounce a word, and so on.
Attitude. It is rightly said that if one has the right attitude, the whole world is at his feet. There is actually no stopping for the person if he has the right attitude. If a person has the right attitude, he can rule the world righteously. He can manage and conquer all the obstacles and situations in the world without holding back his own ability with the right attitude and good communication skill. People can't abuse him for having the right attitude, especially as a good speaker. Once he starts to speak, his audience will surely listen and follow him. Knowledge. Her knowledge is not related to the education qualification of the speaker or the number of degrees he has in his portfolio. Knowledge is actually the clarity of the information which the speaker wants to convey to the second party. When we say knowledge as a speaker, it is not important if you have a college degree. It is not based on education intentment. As long as you have a concrete information that you want to convey to the others, that is enough for you to speak what you wanted to say. Social system. Imagine a politician delivering a speech where he proposed to construct a temple in a Muslim-dominated area. What would be the reaction of the listener? They would obviously be not interested. A speaker must know first the type of his audience before he makes his speech, so that his speech will appropriate to the audience. It is not good to do a speech without knowing a type of audience or listener. Culture refers to the cultural background of the community or the listeners, where the speaker is communicating or delivering his speech. A speaker must be aware of the background or culture of his or her audience so that he can appropriately create a speech.
Message. Message means the package of the information. And for number 1, we have content. It means the body of a message from the beginning to the end. And for number 2, we have element. It includes various things like language, gestures, body language, and many more. So they constitute all the elements of a particular message, and any content is accompanied by some elements. And for number three, we have treatment. It refers the packing of a message, the way in which the message it is passed or delivered. But when there's too much treatment, communication will not go smoothly. And for number four, we have structure. The structure of a message refers to how is it arranged, the way people structure the message into various parts. But take note that message is the same, but if the structure will not properly arranged, then the receiver will not understand the message.
And last is code. Enter a wrong code and the locks will never open. Enter the wrong password, you will not be able to open your email account. In the same way, the code has to be correct in the communication.
Channel. Channel actually refers to the medium, how the information flows from the sender to the receiver. First example, how does one know what the other person is speaking? Through hearing. Second, how does one know whether the pasta he has ordered is made in white sauce or not? Through tasting. Third, how does one know that there is a diversion ahead or it's a no parking zone? Through seeing. Fourth, how will an individual come to know that the food is fresh or stale? How do we find out that the fragrance of a perfume? Through smelling. Fifth, how will you find out whether the milk is hot or not? Through touching. All the five senses are the channel which help human beings to communicate with each other. The channel is any medium that has been used by the receiver to hear, touch, sight, smell, and taste the message or information of the sender to them to analyze and understand. And the example is cell phone, letters, and any gadgets.
Receiver. When the message reaches the receiver, we tries to understand the listener actually wants to convey and responds accordingly. This is the way to convey to the audience. It gives a content of each message. This is also known as decoding. And decoding is the process of turning communication into thoughts. Wireless communication has a advantage or disadvantage. Lack of feedback. The effects are particularly unknown. It doesn't mention the barriers to communication. For example, the organizational barriers, the individual barriers, and the last one is semantic barriers. Number two, there is no room for noise. Number three, it is a linear model of communication and it starts with sender, the message, the channel, and receiver. It requires people to be on the same level for the effective communication to happen. However, that rarely happens in everyday life. The main drawback of the model is that it omits the usage of seek, send as channel of communication, which is an asset to human beings. Thinking, the understanding, and analyzing.